This is a frame that I use to teach carving when I do picture framing classes. Teach a few of those every so often. About 37 years ago, my young family moved back to America, where I had been working in England as a woodworker, doing an apprenticeship system in a construction business as a woodworker. And so I value the proper techniques and training that comes through an industry training. I tried to get a job back in fine art, and I couldn't, and I wasn't terribly confident of my art. And I couldn't find a job that I really wanted in construction. So a friend suggested that I find a job in framing, asked me if I could frame, and I says, yeah, I'm a woodworker, I could do that. So he got me set up, and I worked for a small frame shop in Holiday for a number of years, and then went on to a larger gallery when I saw that there were some things being done that I really didn't like the way they were being done. I thought that it was important that things be done right. And so I suggested to this gallery that they needed me because I was going to be a good framer. And so they needed me as part of their staff. And they gladly took me on, and I got the chance to learn the trade a little bit more and helped in developing the guild, the picture framing guild. Worked with Don Pierce in that. And so for 35 years or so, I've been very involved in wanting to educate and train and make sure that framing is done properly, because a lot of the artwork that we used to have around that was a dime a dozen is now worth a great deal more. And so it is not just a case of making it aesthetically pleasing, but it's a case of protecting the artwork. And that's what I've been dedicated to, and that's kind of the reason that my business DBA is the second artist. I'm not here to make a prima donna statement on any artwork. I'm here to make sure that your artwork is enhanced as best it can be and presented in a way in which it will increase in value, never detrimental to it. So I've been committed to that end for quite some time. Some years back, I did have a retail location on Highland Drive, and circumstances, actually a fire in the building, caused us to need to move out of that operation. The landlord did not have insurance on it, so operating out of my home, and I've got a garage shop that I'm seated in the middle of my corner samples. The corner samples that I have here don't necessarily represent a catalog per se. I don't have this profile and that profile as standard items that I produce. It's important when a customer brings a piece into me that I take a look at the piece and address that piece and make a frame for that piece, not make a molding that I already have, adjust and work toward it. So I work with sketchbooks. I'll sit down and I'll sketch out a design, and I'll show them corner samples as far as reference, as far as finish. We may say this particular profile or this particular finish, and they can all be done in variations. But I do not work as catalog per se, and I design the frame for it. Each frame will be unique. The consultation part is very important. I want to see the piece, talk to the client, find out exactly what it is that they want, because I want to produce exactly not something that's a close representation. Once they decide that, I start with raw lumber. Everything that I get, I get locally. And I do all my own millwork here. Size, dimension the lumber, true it, shape it, profile it, cut it to size, and all of that is done before there's a finish on it. So that when I do put the finish on, it is what's referred to as a closed corner frame. There is no miter visible on it. It has been finished afterwards. At that point, I then make sure that all of my frames are sealed on the inside. Multiple coats of white pigmented shellac, what I refer to as the white rabbit. That white rabbit on the inside of the frame seals it so that the acids that are in the wood don't ever migrate into the matting, and it remains archival, and it will protect the artwork. All of my framing, aside from being aesthetically pleasing and trying to enhance the artwork, is designed in order to preserve the longevity as much as possible.